Welcome back to my channel. It is your girl Purpose Living here. This is gonna be a very realistic video. Put this away and jump right in. I'm going to do my everyday makeup routine for the summertime. Realistically, right? It is hot, humid. Today especially is hot, so I'm going to show you how I put on my makeup. I don't put makeup on every day. As a matter of fact, to be honest with you, I have not felt compelled, not say compelled, but in the mood to really put makeup on. It's been a rough, it's been a difficult, it's been a shocking year thus far. But one thing I can say, that in the midst of this, God is still here. He is still present. He has not disappeared. And we started off with a pandemic. It has not left. And now we are in a situation that is not new. But for some reason, it has took on a different level. We've allowed racism and hatred to slide under the rug for many years. The gap between slavery and, I would probably say, in the 60s and before that, we have let the issue of racism slide under the rug. We as a people, and I just want to talk to us as Black people, that we are strong, we are resilient, we are smart. We're not better than anybody else, but these are some of the attributes that we do have as a people. And those who are intimidated by us has found ways to mess with our mind. And that's why the Bible talks about being transformed with the renewing of your mind. So I think that's important, that we are aware now and we are really sounding an alarm. Some of it is not the right way, you know, I'm just going to be honest. But nevertheless, some people know how to deal with things this way. But as a Christian, I can't deal with things on this way. It doesn't mean that I don't have the same emotions as somebody that would handle the situation, you know, violently. I have emotions, things that I've seen on social media and we have read in the news. It causes anger. It causes frustration. It causes sadness. I've bawled. I have bawled to the point where I feel like I could not breathe. Like I've cried uncontrollably to hear the voice of a grown man, a grown, strong man cry for his mother. I am a mother, and when you hear a person cry for their mom, you feel that in your womb. There's something about a woman that has had the experience of giving birth, that when you hear the cry, there's a childlike cry that came from that man. There was a fear. I think he was afraid to die at that moment, and the way in which he was about to die was torturous. It was heinous. It was wrong. And just like him, more, and there were people, and there have been people before him and after him who have died violently, heinously, because of hatred, because of being quick to shoot first and then ask questions later. So it's been a tough, extremely rough year. And I to be honest with you, I didn't feel like doing no filming, because I'm like, I don't want to come on here talking about makeup or other things and what is happening in the world. So it's important to address the situation and to let you guys know that I am fully aware. I've been struggling with the whole situation, and I've been listening to sermons that bring hope in the midst of what is happening. And so I've been tuning my ears. I've been all over emotionally as a Christian. I feel the most challenged as a believer in this particular time. I can be honest. And one thing that I can say that has been holding me is my worship. And I'm so glad that God has laid in me the spirit of worship, because he knows that connection that we have will continue to be my anchor in the moments and the days where I feel like he has turned his back on the world. And sometimes it feels like that. But the Bible promises me, and I'm standing on the promise of God no matter what, that he will never leave me nor forsake me, that he will never leave us nor forsake us. So without further ado, let's jump right in. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is to prep my skin. This is the, I don't know how to pronounce this, Codule. It is a very lightweight thirst quenching serum. So I'm going to just use a little bit of that. Sometimes I use this. Sometimes I use the Born This Way serum. Anything that's serum, I'll use. Oh my God. The police are looking for those who are busting the firecracker, I guess. And the firecracker. So Jamaican. What do we call them? Something there? Fireworks. Police are looking for now. I do have my handy dandy fan. Oh yes, it does have. So I'll use this to just dry my face. I'll use my conventional fan if I need to, but I'm just going to use this. I'm going to now use my primer. The primer of choice is the Smashbox. I keep one for my kit and one for myself. It is the Smashbox foundation primer. It is a pore minimizing primer. Oh, before I go in, I'll moisturize, make sure my under eye is moisturized, and I use the Clinique Prep Start eye cream right here. And I'll just grab my mirror that I broke. Well, not me, probably Marley. And I'll just dab a little bit under the eye. It is raining right now, I think. It's okay for your face to be a little moisturized and damp. You know, we always think that in the summer months. I think when you're prepping your skin in the summer months, make sure that you moisturize, make sure your skin is supple, make sure that it is hydrated. That way, when you're using a product like this, you've already moisturized. So I rub it on my hand, and I'm just gonna go in the areas where I need it the most first, and that is in my T-zone. So I rub it across my brows because I don't want an oily brow, and then I rub the rest across my skin. Some recommendation would say don't rub it everywhere, but it's hot, girl. Rub it everywhere. If you have a matte primer, and I don't waste it, I rub it. Let's be realistic, huh? I'm still kind of moist, but I'm gonna let this sit for a little bit while I use my color corrector. So I'm gonna go ahead and use my color corrector in the areas that I want, and that is right in here. This is the Sephora Bright Future color corrector, and I like this one because it's not too, it's just the perfect color in my opinion. I'm gonna let it dry a little bit, so I'm just gonna go ahead and grab my fan, grab my concealer. Usually I would use one that's closest to my skin tone, but since this is the one I grabbed, one of the two that I grabbed, I'm going to just go ahead and use this. It is more of a orange color, so it's perfect as a color corrector. This is the ColourPop No Filter concealer. Just gonna dab one here, one here, one here, one here. That's it. And I'm going to grab my handy dandy sponge. Just gonna blend it out. There's two things that you can do from here on out. You could just go ahead and add a foundation powder, a powder that is full coverage, and blot it on the skin with a powder, with a brush. You can either use a fluffy brush like this one or a more dense brush to apply instead of using foundation. But I'm a foundation girl, so I'm gonna go ahead and use foundation. It is hot. I'm going to take a little bit of this Cover FX powder in the shade medium. So there's sweat that's breaking through, so I'm just gonna go and put powder in those places just real quickly. All right, so I'm gonna use the Buxom Show Some Skin Weightless Foundation. This is a foundation that I discovered and I absolutely love it. It's very lightweight and very light coverage for somebody that, you know, some of us have perfect skin, don't need a lot of coverage. This is really good. But I'm going to join in with one of my favorite mixers, which is the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop foundation. I like to mix this with my more lighter, more dewy complected foundations. So usually I can wear this by itself, but since it's so hot, I'm gonna go ahead and add the Can't Stop Won't Stop, which is very, very good and super matte. So I like to mix this. I never wear this alone. Oh, don't tell me there's no more left. I broke up my teeth. I'm going to go ahead and try my Black Up Mattifying Fluid Foundation. So I'm gonna go ahead and mix these two. Hopefully it works. So I'm gonna just go ahead and pump. Wow, super matte, right? No, not too much, because it's full coverage and mattifying at the same time. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go ahead and mix it on the back of my hand, and I'm going to go ahead and wipe that on my face. Take the same brush, my finishing spray, my Urban Decay All Nighter spray, and I'm going to spray my brush. We're trying to keep our foundation on, right? So I'm just gonna go ahead and put that on. Go ahead and use these two concealers. One of them is the Stay Matte from Rimmel. This one I just recently picked up and I decided to try it. It says matte, but child, this will be my third time I think using it, and I don't think it's matte. And I'm gonna go back in with my ColourPop. So I'm gonna go ahead first and grab the ColourPop concealer. Gonna take the darker one and I'm just gonna lightly put it just in this area. Now usually in the winter months I'll cream contour, but when it's hot we're not going to cream contour. We're going to just bronze the skin and add dimension back to the face. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab another brush. This is an e.l.f. brush that I like to use on the skin, and I'm going to grab my Mattifying Cover FX powder, because this kind of powder you cannot bake with. It will leave flashbacks. So this is the kind of powder you just put it under your eye, and you brush it away. And I like the finish. My Juvia's Place powder in the color Kalahari, and I'm just gonna go ahead over this powder and finish up. So I've taken my Juvia's Place powder and I did go ahead and place it in the areas where I'm setting. I use both the Cover FX and the Juvia's Place powder, and I'm going to dip that in. I'm going to set my face. Right, so now I'm gonna go ahead and bronze my face. So my palette of choice is the Black Radiant contour palette. I've been using this for a while. I always mix these two. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to bronze the skin. And I'm just using light, very light. Yo, my nose, virgin. But anyway, I'm gonna fix it. I'm like tapping, so it goes on lightly, and I'm just taking it in the hollows of my cheek, like I'm contouring, but I'm tapping, sweeping, tapping, sweeping, tapping, sweeping, and I'm making sure I'm holding the tip of the brush so that I'm not applying it with too much pressure, because I want it to go on really soft. And I'm pushing the product upward, and then I'm gonna drag some underneath. I'm going to grab my favorite bronzer. It is from Jordana. It is called Bronze 02. Can dip very lightly and tap off the excess, and I'm gonna go in and I'm going to like sweep it on like it's a blush. Because it has shimmer in it, I have to be very careful. And I'm adding the residue on my forehead. I'm gonna go back and grab my sponge and I'm gonna go back and grab my powder brush, the one that I used to set my under eye, and I'm gonna take a little bit of the Juvia's Place powder, and I'm just gonna create a clean. One side always gets done better than the other. And then I just use the leftover and I wipe that. Just barely tap into the powder. If you can see that line that I created, and I'm gonna blend that out a little bit so that I'm not left with a line so much. My forehead, I'm going to, if I see that it needs a little bit of brightening, I'll do that. Remember guys, you don't want your forehead to be super dark, right? So if you find that you bronze it a little bit too much, which some people like, but I just like to even it out. And then go back in here and just clean that up. And I'm gonna tap some of that powder. Powder is gonna be your best friend during the summer months because it's hot. My lids need a little bit of lifting, so I'm going to go back and add some of this on my lids to just cancel out any discoloration. Blend that in. This is where I would sometimes contemplate whether I'm going to use a little bit of highlighter, and I'm going to go ahead and use my Anastasia Beverly Hills Peach Nectar Illuminator, just a little bit. I'm gonna tap it on here. Yeah, not bad. And I'm just gonna sweep it over my brow. Sweep it, and I'm using this ever so lightly. So now we're gonna go into the brows. I do have a brow tutorial. You can go ahead and check that out if you want to see how I do my brows. It's pretty much the same routine. You know what, I'll just do one brow on camera and the other one I'll do off. All right, so first I'm gonna go ahead and shape. That's always the first thing. Shape, outline, 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 outline. That's the first thing I always do, is to make my outline for my brow. See? And then I'll just go back in and I will blend that in, because I want my outline to not be harsh, but to just do what it needs to do. And I'll just take light strokes and I'll start going, and I'll go deeper in this area. I'll spend a little bit more time in this area because I want this part of my brow to be the darkest. And I'll just brush, 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 brush. I go quite light at the end. Light, light, light strokes at the beginning of my brow. So I just finished my brows, and so now what I'm going to do is go ahead and set my face. I think it's important to set the face because what that does is it locks the foundation in. I'm going to go ahead and prime my lashes. So this is optional for those of us who have not yet mastered applying lashes. This is a good thing to do. Prep your lashes by putting a primer on it, and it will add volume to your lashes. So I'm going to show you one version. I might not put lashes on, but usually I do. If I'm recording, I'll put lashes on. But I'll show you this option, that way you won't feel compelled or forced or pressured to wear lashes. Some people are not into lashes, and that's okay. I love my lashes, and I'm gonna grab my bottom lashes as well. I'm gonna let that sit for a bit. So while this is doing its job, I'm going to just do my lips. One of my all-time favorite ones. This is the ColourPop BFF4, I believe, liner. I'm gonna grab one of my favorite lipsticks. It is from Anastasia Beverly Hills in the shade, it is a matte lipstick in the shade Buff. And I'm going to grab a gloss from Lancome. It is the Juicy Tubes. The color came off, but it looks like this. So now I'm gonna grab my mascara, and this is a travel size of the Too Faced Damn Girl mascara. Alright guys, so there you have it. This is my finished everyday makeup routine. You don't have to use foundation with your makeup routine. You can go ahead and conceal. Make sure that you color correct if you have hyperpigmentation or discoloration on your skin, and just cover that up with some concealer that is your complexion or a bit lighter, just to create a dimension on your face, you know. And then add light powder or foundation powder and just bronze the skin. I wouldn't suggest or recommend contouring in the heat. Just keep your face as light as possible. Stay away from heavy foundations during the summer months, unless you know you're going to be in somewhere that is air conditioned, you have to do a photo shoot or film. Then you can use a heavier if you choose, because I do use full coverage foundation sometimes, but I like the fact that you can mix a very light medium coverage foundation with a heavy one, just to keep the foundation from slipping off the face or melting off your face. And also adding a mattifying primer is very, very good in the summer months. Making sure that you prep your face. Don't forget to prep the face and take care of your skin, adding moisturizers, SPF. But anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video and leave some comments. Let's talk in the comments. Want to sustain you? Want one? Can't talk? Can't got on the tongue? Wanna talk the things I'm in the comment now? Talk some things. Talk man, I'm too quiet. Stay encouraged guys. Until next time, bye. And watch some other video now while you're at it. Watch some other video. I have some other video, you know, just watch them now. Watch them, man. Sure.